This episode of We Chose Play was made possible with the generous financial support of Affect Autism's members and of the International Council on Development and Learning, ICDL.com. You're listening to the We Chose Play podcast from Affect Autism, where Affect is the #1 tool we use in supporting development through playful interactions. Slowing down and stretching out interactions. Episode 21. If there's one thing I notice when I see or work with parents and their children, it's that parents often rush interactions. Not only are we in a hurry with our children to get somewhere, but even when we have time to just sit and play, we're still rushing. Let's explore slowing down and stretching out any and all interactions we have with our child. Disclaimer: these are general suggestions and guidelines and are not meant to be taken as advice. Please contact a professional for specific recommendations for your own child. What is it we are trying to do? Recall that we have simultaneous goals in Floortime. Capture our child's shared attention, the first functional emotional developmental capacity, FEDC1, by either co-regulating with our child if they are dysregulated or upset, or enticing them into an interaction with us. Engage the child at FEDC2 by getting the gleam in their eye, which we do by joining in what they are showing interest in and using affect, facial expressions, gestures, and tone to support this engagement. Get the back and forth interactions or circles of communication going, verbal or nonverbal, at FEDC3. So let's stop here. At this point, I see parents doing 4 things that interrupt the flow of the interaction. 4 things that interrupt the flow of interaction. Number 1, not waiting for the child to respond. I will see parents, us included, getting the gleam in the eye of the child and opening a circle of communication to initiate an interaction with the child, only to then jump in with an idea instead of giving the child the time it takes to process the parent's initiation and then respond. Screech! Put on the brakes. Wait longer. Number 2, responding to the child's response with an unrelated new idea. Similarly, I'll see parents, us included, getting a bit of flow going with the child, only to stop it dead in its tracks by initiating a new idea into the play rather than responding with a related response. Number 3, asking a lot of questions. Another observation I've made is that parents, including us, will ask a question, i.e., put a demand on the child, about what the child wants to do next, rather than commenting or responding with nonverbal emotional signaling on the same topic to keep the flow going. Number 4, using too many words when interacting with the child. Our first DIR Floortime speech and language therapist would remind us weekly that we should only use the amount of words what was provided to us by our son. If our son said fast, we should not respond with, "Oh, you want the car to go faster? Okay, well then let's make him go really fast." But instead use fewer words, very fast. Think about only using 1 to 2 words unless a child is giving you more. Keep the interaction balanced and reciprocal. Even better, use more nonverbal communication instead. Also consider Gestalt language processing. A link is provided in the show notes. Why is it important to slow down and stretch out the interactions we have with our child? Recall that the most important aspect of Floortime is the relationship with the child. Also recall that our children develop and learn through their emotional experiences with us. Engagement is not enough. We playfully push for affective, nonverbal gesturing and emotional signaling in order to support their communication efforts and working and long-term memory, which in turn prepares them for visualization and imagination. Without getting a reciprocity of interactions in a continuous flow, our children struggle with catastrophic emotional reactions. That is, they lack a sense of control without the ability to use emotional signaling with others to communicate. As we help them practice emotional signaling through a continuous flow of back and forth communication, our children gain a sense of control and their regulation improves. Let's persist with a back and forth reciprocity in our interactions. Number 1, wait for your child to respond after you initiate an interaction. Don't say anything. Just wait with anticipation in your eyes and a smile. You will be surprised if you start doing this that your child takes longer than you expect, but will respond in some way. Waiting helps your child to think for themselves and also works on their impulsivity, which will eventually increase their frustration tolerance. Accept all responses from your child without correcting what they say. This is not the time to teach appropriate sentence structure or behavior. This Floortime session is about connecting in a pleasurable way. It is about getting the back and forth flow. Use affect rather than words if your child isn't responding. That is, make funny sounds of anticipation such as oh, or oh, or even or gasps and giggles. You want your child to be enticed into referencing you and then responding to you. You can even do something funny with your body, like wobbling so not to fall over. Refrain from physically touching the child to force them into your field of vision or put something into their hand. We want to use affect to entice and woo them into the interaction so that the motivation to reference us and respond comes from the child, not from us. We want the child to have that agency and ability to say no. Keep your cool. It is frustrating when your child can't stay in an interaction with you, for sure. But if you do not stay regulated and engaged yourself, you will be unable to entice your child into an interaction with you at FEDC 3. Try not to take your child's lack of reciprocity or responding personally. You need patience because you are helping your child learn this. The child will need to practice this millions of times with your support so that they can automate it. And each child will communicate differently. Watch for their communication cues. Number 2, keep with the interaction. If we open a circle of communication with our child and the child responds, we want to continue with another related circle rather than jumping onto something new and opening a new circle. This means we try to stay in the moment. We want to create that back and forth flow rather than just comment on what the child is doing or repeat what the child says. Example, you've engaged your child by pushing a car alongside their car and the child responds with a smile or even looks over at your car. We can continue with this activity by making our car go honk honk or making the car crash, exclaiming, "Oops, crashed," or making your car go faster than your child's by whizzing by and making a vroom noise. We can do all of these things rather than moving to the marble tower next to it and starting to play marbles, which is something new. You could, however, bring the marbles into the interaction by rolling a marble in front of your child's car, for instance. Your child might even push your car away and try and avoid you. You can even respond by saying, "Oh no, car, mama." Then make it playful by creating anticipation. You could sing-song entice, "Oh, I'm coming back," as you slowly approach with your car again. Each time your child pushes you away or responds by turning away, that is a response you can then respond back to playfully. Number 3, avoid asking questions. Questions have a time and a place, especially in the higher FEDCs, 4 to 6, for clarification and stretching out interactions. But in the early FEDCs, 1 to 3, it is best to use commenting rather than questions. In our cars example from above, we can make playful comments such as, "My car is going to catch you," or "Here comes my car," or question-like comments such as, "I wonder where your car is going," or, "I wonder if my car can go as fast as your car." Questions foster stop and start interactions at the lower FEDCs. When you ask the child, "Where's your car going?" the child may ignore you or may answer, and then the onus is back on you to initiate again. Often it feels easiest to initiate with another question to which you get another answer. Start, stop. Start, stop. This is not a continuous flow. Stop and start interactions are not natural. When we think of communication between people, there's a rhythm to a conversation. We want to have this rhythm with our child by smiling, looking, gesturing, commenting, playing, and sharing in an activity together. Stop and start with question, answer, question, answer, question, answer. is about the child responding to us rather than a continuous flow of back and forth interaction. We want the child to initiate. DIR Floortime is about relating, communicating, and thinking within a safe and loving, joyful relationship. Reciprocity means we want our child to be initiating with us as much as we are with them. We don't want our child to grow into someone who is always waiting on a cue from someone else before communicating, or they will only be responding to their environment. We want our child to actively have thoughts and input in relating and communicating with others. Also, in order to succeed in academics, our children will need to be able to think for themselves. Thus, we must give the child the opportunity to think by giving them numerous chances every day to come up with ideas and initiate interactions with us in a continuous flow rather than in one-offs. Number 4, use fewer words and lots of nonverbal communication. Slowing down and stretching out the interaction means you can use anticipation to keep the child interested in you. For instance, our son loves when his dad rolls the lid from our round Tupperware container on its side across the table. He will roll it or slide it back across the table to his dad. Now, Dad will use affect to make faces of eager excitement as he stalls rolling it back. Our son will smile and giggle and get very eager to see when Dada will roll it back. Dad might even start to roll it and then stop and make a face like, "Oh," and get another glance exchanged with our son before rolling it. He will also go 3, 2, and our son will say 1, and then Dad will go. Before our son was so verbal, he would accept an arm in the air gesture as our son's 1, because that was our son's way of communicating that he wants Dad to roll the lid. Dad might even then smile and nod, put his hand on his mouth giggling, and look to our son. This stalling with nonverbal emotional signaling helps keep our son in the interaction. A huge thank you to Floortime practitioner Sophia Ashman for comments in creating this section of helpful tips. Dr. Mona Delahook, a DIR Floortime pediatric psychologist in California, describes the process of being rather than doing with your child so eloquently. The link is in the show notes. She says that children need, quote, an engaged and relaxed parent, unquote, that, quote, sets the stage for learning within trusting relationships, unquote. Please read her blog post, linked to in the show notes. Certainly, there are many nuances and specific situations that cannot possibly all be covered here, but maybe you have a few tips to work with. The main point is that we want to wait for a child to respond rather than respond for them. We want to stay in the moment with whatever things we are doing with the child, and we want to give responses back that keep the child in the interaction rather than shutting off the interaction. Thank you for listening. If you liked this episode, please share it with someone, like and subscribe, sign up for the newsletter at affectautism.com, and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or Instagram. Until next time, here's to choosing play and experiencing joy every day.